that freak.
Seems like a nice guy, and he just exudes macho.
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Yes, sir.
Yes, have some.
All right, welcome to it. The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. Online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube, the YouTube channel, Nation of Jake. Go there, subscribe. Got some new subscribers. My notifications came up, said Frank has subscribed to the Nation of Jake. Something called Scamper Van has subscribed to the Nation of Jake. So you're getting left out if you have not done it already. Make sure and go subscribe and tell your friends to do the same on this Thursday, July 11th, year of our Lord 2019, 7-Eleven Day. We don't have 7-Elevens here. We don't have Slurpees, but you go get an icy. You got to cool off because it is 92. Going to inch up to 93. Feels like 101. That's a little bit of a cold front coming in. So grab a light sweater or jacket here on this 7-Eleven Day. Now look, today is the day. I usually just tell you, forget about the 401k. Don't look at your IRA. Don't look at your retirement accounts until you're getting to the point where you can touch them, when it gets into reach, when you're in that part of your financial planning. But I'd say break that rule today. Today is the day to look at your 401k. If you want to feel wealthy or you want to feel good about your decisions with regards to your retirement, or if you're just a big baller who holds a lot of stocks, go check out your accounts today. The Dow Jones is above 27,000 for the first time ever. Yeah, despite, some uncertainty with the China tariffs, also the Mexico tariffs, the USMCA, I guess, the new NAFTA. There's a lot of uncertainty out there, but the investor class seems bullish, I'm guessing, on the stock market. So just today, because it's at a record high, is the Dow Jones. Hell, the NASDAQ is up over 8,000. You can go feel good about your retirement and your future. Go look at your 401k, and then don't go look at it ever again until you get to the point where you can actually do something about it. All right, so this is a good day for the stock market. We'll talk to Ron Hart in a little bit about what exactly is going on. I know the Fed is talking about interest rate cut, and that's got a bunch of investors in the investor class bullish on the stock market. But again, I'm just spitting at you with stuff I hear. I really don't have a deep understanding of how it all works. I just recognize the trends in the news with the stocks, tariffs, federal interest rates, things like that. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and freshman Congresswoman AOC are going at it. This is one of the more fun stories of the day. AOC and the other freshman Congresswomen like Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, they've been pulling the party left with this outsized voice, mostly on Twitter. And Nancy Pelosi has had to rein them back in, saying, hey, listen, all those Twitter followers you have, they don't mean what you think they mean in here, in the chamber, in the caucus. So she's had to use her gavel to play whack-a-mole on all these new freshman congresswomen. And now AOC is calling her racist? We'll get into that in a minute. That's a lot of fun. I love Democrat infighting. There's nothing better, really, than when these people, all these elites in D.C., are at each other's throats. We've got some more news on this hashtag equal pay in women's soccer thing. As you recall, Megan Rapinoe single-handedly beat every country in the World Cup on the way to the U.S. women's national teams hoisting the World Cup. Now they've had a parade. She's been doing the media rounds. Really only her. She's the one who's front and center. She's one of 3 co-captains. But again, she's got kind of an outsized voice when it comes to women in sports now. I mean, she is one woman on one team. And now she's talking about the equal pay, how they deserve equal pay. She's got politicians on her side saying, yes, there should be equal pay for men and women's soccer. In fact, the women's team is better than the men's team and they could beat the men. That's actually what some people are saying. is that the women's team outperforms the men. In fact, put them on the same field, and the women could beat the men, and therefore they deserve equal pay. We are going to do this by the numbers. All right, we're going to take the emotion out of it. I've actually pulled up some figures from men and women's professional soccer, and we're going to compare those numbers and take all the Donald Trump, anti-Trump sentiment out of it, take all the emotion out of it, and we're going to get to the bottom of this equal pay thing. We've also got some updated numbers on the battle mayoral. On October 3rd, Memphis will choose either to stick with Mayor Strickland,
Mr. Strickland, Mayor,
or move in a different direction with another challenger, possibly Willie Harrington, maybe Tammy Sawyer, the Shelby County Commissioner for all of 7 months. We've got some numbers, though, as far as these donations, campaign donations, fundraising numbers. We know that Big Jim Strickland,
Mayor,
has a cool $1 million. Well, how much do his challengers have, and where's this money coming from? Because I think that is going to tell the tale when you dig into the numbers on the battle mayoral. So, sounds like a lot of fun today. I don't know if the heat advisory is still in effect. We're at a feels-like temperature of 101. But I can tell you that people are going crazy from the heat. I witnessed something today on the way to the radio station. I had to stop for fuel, as I hate doing, but I do it at Kroger. I use my wife's Kroger points, and I usually take the 20 cents off per gallon. And she's like, "Why'd you do that? I was going to get gas later." I was like, "You snooze, you lose, babe." Now, what I witnessed today at the Kroger gas station is one of those things where, I look at people and I give them credit. I give them credit for knowing stuff. All right, sometimes too much credit. But when you see a grizzled old man with a white beard in an F-150 Lariat, probably a 1987 pickup truck, you think that he knows his truck. He's probably driven that truck for a long time, and you don't want to tell him his business. The last thing I want to do is go telling old guys their business, because I'm 40 years old. I mean, I'm a man, and I'm 40. That said, I'm still a whippersnapper to some of these old guys. So I'm there at the gas pump, and this old guy, by all objective measures, this is an old guy. He's got the white beard, way whiter than mine. He's got white hair. He's got liver spots. He's an old guy, a little grizzled old fella. He just turns off his truck. He pops the hood, and he's got a buddy with him who's got a container of Peak antifreeze coolant. All right, he's got the coolant ready to go, and I'm over pumping my gas, just looking over at what's unfolding before me. All right, I'm like, he's not going to do what I think he's going to do. He's not going to do this. He just turned the truck off. He has not let that engine cool down, because even I know, and I'm not a guy who knows about cars. I can change my own air filter. I can change a battery in a car. I can do the basics. I'm by no extent am I a car guy. Usually, if the car is out of gas, I know the problem. If it's not out of gas, I'm like, I have no idea. Little Mitch Hedberg for you. So I'm not going to tell an old guy who's been driving this truck for a long time not to uncap a hot radiator. I'm not going to tell him. He knows that. Even I know that. I know you don't uncap a hot radiator. You just don't do it. I mean, you've essentially got a radiator, which is radiating or heating up your coolant fluid trying to keep it cool. It's there to keep it cool, right? It heats up. It absorbs the heat, right? I don't even know. I'm just like, the way that I've gathered. And I never took shop class. I know very little about the way cars work. I got a basic understanding just from being around. But regardless, you're always told, don't uncap a hot radiator. Just don't do it. Don't let the engine cool down, because you know what's going to happen if you uncap that hot radiator, right? Well, so I'm standing there, and this old guy, he's got his buddy with him who has the coolant. This guy starts to uncap that hot radiator, and I couldn't help myself. I said, sir, please don't. And he just looked at me like, you mind your own business. This truck's older than you, son. I know what I'm doing. This ain't my first rodeo. Don't tell me my business, kid. So before I could get it out, I go, hey, man, don't do it. And he uncaps that hot radiator. This brown boiling liquid shoots out and gets all over this old man's hands. All right, and this guy's old. He's been through it before. He probably doesn't have any nerves left in his hands. He's so grizzled, right? But he's like, and he runs off. And I was like, he just uncapped the hot radiator, burned his hands all to hell. And so his buddy's like, man, you probably shouldn't have done that. And so he starts pouring the coolant there into the radiator, and he's freaking out because he's thinking that that's going to shoot back up at him. It's like, what are you doing? You getting crazy from the heat? I think that's it. We talk about during a heat advisory, all the basic stuff to beat the heat. We talk about, keeping cool, drinking water. Yeah, you might want to check the fluids in your engine before it overheats. Uncapping a hot radiator. I was appalled. I was like, this guy's got to know better. There's no way he's going to do it. And just watching it, like all in slow motion, I'm like, oh, this is about to happen. He's going to uncap that. So it's, and he kind of eyeballed me as I was leaving. I was like, what? Don't get on me, bro. I told you, don't do that. And I know nothing about cars. Nothing. Seriously. I get cocky. Well, here's how I get cocky about my car. I take it to the guys over at the oil change place, and they like to do the thing where they show me the air filter. They show me, hey, it's pretty dirty. You probably need to get that replaced. It'll be like $1,000. And I go, nah, man, I'll go to Walmart. I'll do it myself. Yeah! That's how mechanically inclined I am. I can put in the Fram filter in my car. It snaps. You don't even need tools. It's the easiest thing to do in the world. But I'm like, yeah, I got this. I put my own air filter in, man. I got this. I take care of my own car. That's why I'm here letting you change my oil. Good Lord. So, yeah, people getting crazy from the heat. So the heat advisory should still be in effect from what I witnessed today. Okay, in a little bit, we're going to talk about hashtag equal pay. We'll talk about the battle mayoral coming up. But next, I want to get into this feud between House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and AOC. It's fun stuff. We'll do it next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Free Talk Live.
Why label them citizens?
Oh.
Why not just call it what it is? You're a serf. You're a slave.
The heavy-handed language that you're speaking out against the government is, I never heard anything like this on the radio.
Would you prefer to have your brains eaten, or would you prefer to become one of them?
The whole world is going into a world collapse. They said we have till the 1st of June.
Free Talk Live, Sunday through Friday nights on KWAM, The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish dad!
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Love everything about cars? Then check out my show, Auto Talk Live. I'll talk about everything automotive, from new cars to cool tech and car buying tips. Your escape from politics, reality shows, and everyday life. It's educational and entertaining. So join me, JP Paluga, every Friday from 8 to 9 a.m. for Auto Talk Live. Live on KWAM The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.CryLike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.CryLike.com.
If you're thinking about retirement, you've got to know it's all about income. Your money making money. The Retirement Income Doctor wants to teach you how it's done. Give us a call and we'll send you a free animated video kit. 848-2-INCOME. 848-2-INCOME. And tune us in, The Retirement Income Doctor, Saturday mornings at 10. Call now for your free income kit. 848-2-INCOME. 848-2-INCOME.
This is a public service announcement test from TakeMeFishing.org to determine if you need a fishing license and boat registration before heading out on the water. Let us begin. Are you a bear? Do you have a beak? Do you have plumage? Please tell me you answered no, which means you need to get a fishing license and have your boat registered, because it helps local conservation efforts protect the very natural resources you enjoy boating and fishing in for generations to come. Do your part at TakeMeFishing.org.
The Dave Ramsey Show, weekdays from 9 to noon on The Voice.
Why are we so dumb about education? You cannot wander into this blindly and just pray that money drops from heaven. It's not going to. When you do that, that's called student loans. And then 30-year-old you is pissed off at the 20-year-old you for doing the stupid stuff. And so don't do that. Have a plan. Lay it out in detail.
The Dave Ramsey Show, weekdays from 9 to noon on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
The special event florist for the Mid-South is Lynn Doyle Flowers. They are famous for creating incredible floral arrangements and are available to fill even your last-minute needs. From the simple to the magnificent, their staff can create unique arrangements for your special occasion. Flowers always bring a smile, make someone's day, and for fast, convenient delivery, call Lynn Doyle Flowers today at 901-323-4521 or visit their beautiful new location at 6225 Old Poplar Pike.
Talk Memphis, oh please, talk Memphis.
Hi, this is George Bryant, General Manager of The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990, with a special announcement. If you're an expert in your field, if you represent an organization, if you think you can help Memphis become a better place by sharing your life experience on family, environment, health, relationships, government, home improvement, raising pets, whatever your passion is, give me a call. If you've ever wanted to have your own radio show or podcast, now is the time. We have immediate openings, so call me today. You can be the host of your own show, a show that you own. Talk to Memphis on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990. My number is 901-261-4200, extension 228. That's 261-4200, extension 228.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990. Online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can do that and then tell your friends about the Nation of Jake. And then I can get monetized on YouTube. I need like 1,000 subscribers. I need you guys to watch like all the time. And then I'll get monetized. And I'll make a bunch of money. And then I'll say something offensive and get demonetized. And that is my ultimate goal, is to get demonetized. Because that's when you know you've made it. When you got people taking your money away from you. So go subscribe. And then I get demonetized. You can unsubscribe. It's fine. All right. Coming up in a little bit, Megan Rapinoe all over the news about equal pay for women's soccer. We'll do that by the numbers. But we've got another dust up here. Check this out. We've got House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. She's 100 years old. She's been around forever. Very experienced. Not a dumb lady by any means. I mean, her views are out of whack with mine. I don't agree with her on anything. So it feels really odd when I find myself defending her. All right, she's got a tough job. She's got 230 something Congress people, and she has to maintain some order, the united front of the Democrat Party. It's not always easy, especially when you've got these young freshmen coming in, these congresswomen who just want to make waves with their Twitter following and their national following, because honestly, it doesn't matter on what they do on Twitter. I mean, honestly, look, you've got kind of a generational gap. You got Pelosi, doesn't care about Twitter. She has people to do that for her. And then you've got people like AOC who have grown up on social media. She's 29 years old. So you figure since she was 14 years old, all it's been about is Facebook and Twitter and the Snapchats and the Instagram, right? So she kind of lives on the Twitter. Well, this whole brouhaha came about after AOC's chief of staff compared the moderate Democrats in Congress to segregationists. Okay? All right? All right, and then AOC kind of doubles down on that and says, well, yeah, she's singling out these young congresswomen, and they're all people of color. So while Nancy Pelosi is saying, AOC, fall in line, all right? We don't need you guys voting against bills like the border bill. You look stupid when you declare the conditions on the border in these migrant camps, or whatever you want to call them. She called them concentration camps. AOC says they're keeping people locked up in concentration camps and making kids drink out of the toilet, which I don't think is true. I don't think anybody directed any kids to drink out of the toilet. Maybe they did that on their own. Kids do that kind of stuff, right? They're thirsty and they drink out of the toilet. Dogs do it too. But children do it. I mean, I've been to slap my kids, hey, don't stick your hand in the toilet. So it happens. I'm almost certain that they weren't directed to do that. So she's talking about all these awful conditions, and then she goes and she votes against this border bill that is going to fund more beds and more resources for the conditions at the border. And so, and there are 4 votes. You know, you would take Ilhan Omar, you take AOC, Rashida Tlaib, and this other, Ayanna Pressley from Massachusetts. So there's like 4 votes. And Pelosi, with her gavel, is routinely popping down these 4 weasels. You got these 4 freshman congresswomen who are jumping out of the holes going, we're going to vote against this. And Nancy Pelosi's like, pop goes the weasel. Pop, 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 pop. Just playing whack-a-mole. Boom, 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 boom with her gavel, right? So it's usually not, I don't think there's any racial motivation. But when you're out of arguments, that's usually where you go. Is that you complain about, oh, listen, it's, you know, this old white lady, and she's always giving us hell about our tweeting. She must be racist, right? Oh, you see it with the 2020 Democrat field. Joe Biden, elder statesman's been around a long time, was in the Senate for 40-some years, was the vice president. All of a sudden, he's racist. He's racist. He's a moderate. He's worked with people who have views that don't hold up to today's standards because he's been in Congress forever. Oh, so Kamala Harris calls him racist. It's just kind of like, it's lost its meaning. The word has lost its meaning because of stuff like this. So it all comes down to this public spat that we're seeing now, just to get into the nuts and bolts of it. The public spat between Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Speaker Nancy Pelosi got a lot nastier on Wednesday, with the freshman congresswoman suggesting that the speaker is singling out her and her colleagues based on their race. Ocasio-Cortez, along with Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley, who are all women of color, have been singled out because they go on Twitter and they say stuff about the Democrat caucus. And this is what Nancy Pelosi is charged with, holding together, holding the line. Now, the feud escalated after that border funding bill that the 4 young Democrats opposed. Pelosi discussed the bill and those in her party who oppose it in an interview last weekend. She told the New York Times that all these people have their public whatever in their Twitter world, but they don't have any following. They're 4 people, and that's how many votes they got. And she's right about that. Like, you can have this big Twitter following, and you can be a star, and you can go out, and you can start believing your own hype, but you represent a district. You represent a finite number of people, and you yourself are just 1 vote in the caucus. So you can grandstand and you can vote no as a show of solidarity or a show of protest, but at the end of the day, you're just 1 vote, and these women total 4. Ocasio-Cortez told the Washington Post on Wednesday that the persistent singling out by the speaker may be more than outright disrespectful. When these comments first started, I kind of thought she was keeping the progressive flank at more of an arm's distance in order to protect the more moderate members, which I understood, but the persistent singling out, it got to a point where it was just outright disrespectful, the explicit singling out of newly elected women of color. It's kind of like that shield. You know, it's kind of like using this shield, like, you can't criticize my ideas or my actions because I'm a woman of color. Oh, I'm a woman of color. It's my shield. Boom. And it's just kind of like, hold on a sec. It has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Not even a little bit. We really haven't seen much like AOC. AOC was a bartender 8 months ago before winning that primary up in New York. Now she's making $175,000, and she's in there talking about how Nancy Pelosi is giving her too much work. She assigned me to all these committees, and I'm so busy now. It's so much work. It's like, yeah, welcome to the Hill, kid. You're going to do all the work. And if you can stay there, then maybe you'll be in a leadership position, and then you'll be the one delegating all the work, handing out all the assignments. So she's starting to wake up a little bit. Old Ocasio-Cortez. She's like, hold on, I got here. I thought this was going to be all, this is all going to be like a resort country club. I do a little grandstanding in front of a committee, and I then go on Twitter, and I get a bunch of likes. And a lot of people saying, yes, queen. But this is actual work. She also went in an interview with the New Yorker Radio Hour. She accused Congress of using men and women and minorities as bargaining chips, which she's 100% correct on that. To the Democrat Party, women and minorities are bargaining chips. That's been the Democrat Party for years. They've been treating people as voting blocks instead of individuals. Oh yeah, we're going to take care of you. You just keep voting for us. Just get in lockstep, believe what we believe. Don't use your own head. Look at the color of your skin. You have to vote for us. You have to. You are morally obligated. You are bound to vote for us. Why would you vote for those guys? Why would you do it? Yeah, so they've been doing this forever. And it's kind of like their game. It's the whole identity politics. And now Nancy Pelosi, who has always played identity politics, is getting it thrown back in her face by AOC. Now, Nancy Pelosi has responded to AOC today. She stood her ground in response to the freshman congresswoman's claims that the speaker has been disrespectful to several minority lawmakers. She says she has the backing of her caucus in defending her handling of the rabble-rousing freshman squad that Ocasio-Cortez leads. It's so juvenile, isn't it? Here's Pelosi talking about it today.
I said what I'm going to say. With all due respect, maybe you didn't hear what I said. I said what I'm going to say on the subject. What I said in the caucus yesterday got an overwhelming response from my members because they know what the facts are and what we're responding to. We respect the value of every member of our caucus. The diversity of it all is a wonderful thing. Diversity is our strength. Unity is our power. And we have a big fight, and we're in the arena. And that's all I'm going to say on the subject. So if you want to waste your question.
All right, so here you go. She's saying pretty much, look, AOC, she's claiming that moderate Democrats are racist or segregationists through her chief of staff by extension, and then she's saying that we're singling them out because they're women of color. She's accusing us of some awful stuff. I had a talk with the caucus, and they appreciated, my standing up for them because this one congresswoman with an outsized voice on Twitter is going out to her national following, and she's trashing everybody else. She's trashing the whole party, trying to take them down. And Nancy Pelosi does not like it. Now AOC is kind of backing down a little bit. All right, she's kind of backing off her claims that they're being singled out because they're women of color. Here's what she had to say. Some roving reporter has a mic in her face.
It's singling out 4 individuals. And knowing the media environment that we're operating in, knowing the amount of death threats that we get, knowing the amount of concentration of attention, I think it's just worth asking why.
Do you think she has racial animus? Is she racist?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I just said that she may have had a racial animus. I may have said that she's singling out women of color, but no, I don't mean it. No way, I didn't mean. See how she said that? Oh no, how could you even ever assume that I would think Nancy Pelosi has a racial animus, even though I accused her of singling out women of color? We're just upset because she's trying to have us murdered. Because that was the thing. Look, she goes off the racism thing, and now she's on the death threats thing. Listen to that again.
It's singling out 4 individuals. And knowing the media environment that we're operating in, knowing the amount of death threats that we get, knowing the amount of concentration of attention.
It's okay. Knowing the amount of death threats we get, why would Nancy Pelosi single us out unless she wanted us to be murdered? Now she's accusing Nancy Pelosi of not considering their safety. But you hear that? Oh, we're 4 individuals. We get death threats. The concentration of attention that is on us. Oh, really? The concentration of attention that's on us. It's just on us. It has nothing to do with you guys going out and calling Trump an MFer and then calling the border situation concentration camps and going out with all this heightened rhetoric that you want to put out there on Twitter. The attention. Listen, you wanted the attention, and now you got it. You wanted the attention. You called Nancy Pelosi a racist. And now you're saying, well, no. Oh, no, that's not ever what I meant. No. She's, perfectly fine non-racist people always get accused of singling out women of color. She's singling out individuals who have death threats against us. Why would she do that unless she wanted us murdered? When you're in the hole, stop digging. Stop digging. And listen, I will rarely, if ever, defend Nancy Pelosi. But in this situation, I'm Team Pelosi. I'm all over it. It has nothing to do with them being women of color, because I totally would go out on a date with AOC because I think she's pretty. And that's sexist, which I don't care. All right, well, the sexism abound. We've got the U.S. women's national team. They're still making the media rounds. And we're going to focus on this hashtag equal pay deal that keeps getting thrown around. We got a senator who wants to make sure that the men's and women's national teams are both paid equally. But I do want to bring out some numbers that kind of illustrate something called supply and demand, which apparently doesn't apply if you are a soccer player with USA on your jersey. Apparently, all economic laws are abdicated at that point. We will get into that next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News Update. Tropical Storm Barry could become a Category 1 hurricane before it hits the Gulf Coast this weekend. And CBS's David Parkinson says the storm could produce up to 2 feet of rain.
The key concern is going to be the flooding coming from the rain, and that is going to be starting as soon as your day on Friday. And then all day Saturday, it is just pouring rain. Rainfall rates of 1 inch or 2 or 3 an hour at certain points.
Thousands are under evacuation orders, but New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell wants people to stay put.
We are not issuing a voluntary or mandatory evacuation. Sheltering in place is our strategy.
CBS's Manuel Bajorquez says there's concern about levees that were repaired after Hurricane Katrina.
Some have started to settle and may not provide the intended protection if water levels on the Mississippi River reach historic levels.
CBS News Update, I'm Pam Coulter.
Hey everyone, I'm your host Marie Pisano of the Finding My Yes radio show. We got a new talk show that interviews celebrities in film, music, TV, and some interesting people from Memphis to around the world. We even feature some music from emerging artists. Don't miss us Sundays at 4 p.m. right here on The Voice FM 107.9 and AM 990. Brought to you by ECT Go Heroic.
Triumph Bank strives to make banking easy for our customers. You have a lot of choices when it comes to banks, so we invite you to visit one of our local offices in Memphis, Germantown, Collierville, and Arlington to see for yourself how our team, backed by our state-of-the-art online and mobile services, can simplify banking for you and your business. Triumph Bank, invested in our communities and making banking easy for you. Triumph is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender. TriumphBank.com. Let's talk growth.
This is Clark Howard. Wouldn't you love to have all the consumer protections that come with a credit card, but not run up debts? Well, that's the promise so many people would like, because using debit cards is really dangerous. Debit cards don't come with the consumer protections you get with a credit card, And you can find that out the hard way if you buy something and the company doesn't deliver it, or any of a number of things involving fraud on your account where you're protected with the credit card and not really on a debit card. But a lot of people take a debit card and use it because they don't want to go into debt. Well, that's where Zero enters the picture. A credit card that's designed to keep you from spending money you don't have. You can learn about it and the companion checking account that Zero offers at zero.app. That's zero.app.
The backyard's looking great, Rob.
Thanks, man. I was planning on adding a deck, too. Know any good contractors?
Why don't you just ask Home Advisor?
Home what?
HomeAdvisor.com. You just tell them about your project and they match you with local pros that can do the job.
Nice. Now, how much does it cost?
Oh, Home Advisor's totally free to use. Plus, you can read customer reviews, check pricing, and book appointments for free.
What's the website again?
HomeAdvisor.com. Or just download the free Home Advisor app.
Home Advisor.
Have you heard what President Trump said recently?
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too.
Now you can watch Newsmax TV and get the truth about Trump from Bill O'Reilly, Mike Reagan, Alan Dershowitz, Pat Buchanan, and more. Newsmax TV is America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in 70 million homes. Find Newsmax on DirecTV, Dish, Xfinity, Spectrum, Optimum, Fios, Uverse, and more systems. See Newsmax TV today. It's real news for real people.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
It's the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. We're online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on the YouTube, the channel Nation of Jake. Very simple to find. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then you can also check out all the 2-minute shows. If you don't have 2 hours during the day, hell, I understand that. It's a lot to ask for somebody to listen to you speak for 2 straight hours. I wouldn't do it. If somebody came up to me and said, hey, listen to my show, it's 2 hours long, I'd be like, good Lord, can you condense that down to 2 minutes? Because that's all I got. That's what I would do. I'd watch 2 minutes of you. Well, that's what I've done. I've taken this show and then just squeezed it on down to 2 minutes. Just the highlights. So go check it out there on the YouTube channel. You can also follow me on the Facebook and contact me on Twitter at Nation of Jake. All right, so all this week, after the U.S. women's national team defeated Netherlands in the finals of the World Cup, all eyes have been on the U.S. women's national team. Well, kinda. All eyes have been on one member of the U.S. national team, and that would be one of the captains, one of 3 captains, Megan Rapinoe. She has been on every news station, minus Fox News, talking to anybody who will listen about how much she hates Donald Trump and also how she believes there should be equal pay for the U.S. women's national team, that they should get the same salaries as the U.S. men's national team because they're better. Now, let's be very clear about something. I don't think anybody seriously is saying that the U.S. women's national team could beat the men's national team like on the same field against each other. I don't even think that the women would get a shot on goal against the men's team. They're saying that they, as women in the Women's World Cup, have performed better, which is true. 100% true. They have 4 World Cups in 28 years. There have been 8 World Cups for women. The U.S. has won 4 of them. Complete and total domination. All right, the men have not fared as well. Maybe you could say that the competition is tougher globally for the men. It's still the best players. They have not been able to put it together yet. They make 125% more than the women. All right, so you're saying, hey, there should be equal pay. No, that's not why. None of that should matter. What's the market for women's soccer? That's really what matters. You have to compare apples to apples. We've talked about women's soccer and the market for it. There are fewer places for women to play soccer professionally. The men, you've got all these leagues. You've got MLS. You've got whatever the hell league this 901 FC is playing in. It's kind of like a minor league for MLS. You've got La Liga. Is that something? You've got the Premier League. You've got all these different leagues for men. So they're these leagues are bidding on the services of men's soccer players. All right. And I brought up the example, this Michael Bradley, who is one of the best soccer players in the world. He's on the U.S. men's national team. He gets $6 million a year from the club in Toronto he plays for, and he gets about $250 a year from the U.S. men's national team. So he gets 1/24th of his regular salary to play for the U.S. men's national team, whereas the top paid player in the NWSL, the National Women's Soccer League, makes $50,000, and then they're paid twice that for the U.S. women's national team. So if you compare that, the women are actually paid better for their U.S. national team duties than our men when you compare the apples to the apples. And see, and I went through this, and there's such a lost opportunity because I've watched a few of these World Cup matches with the U.S. women's national team. I enjoy women's soccer. I watch it. My sister played women's soccer. And by the way, my sister, she was a bit of a soccer stud. She played at Germantown High School. She was the captain of the team there. She went on to play at Lambeth, and she still plays, and she loves the game. You can't even watch these games with her. She's so into it. She's so serious. And we were texting yesterday. Megan Rapinoe has lost her. She's like, yeah, I'm kind of sick of all this Megan Rapinoe love. She's a great player, no doubt, but there are 20-something other women on the team we could hear from, and she's become this, political icon. And my sister's like, yeah, I'm just kind of done with it. Like, I had to turn off an interview last night. And so when you lose my sister, you're losing a lot of other people too, because my sister will be with you through thick and thin if you're on the U.S. women's national team. I mean, these are like her Atlanta Braves, if you want to make the comparison. But just yesterday, we were listening to a clip of Megan Rapinoe talking to Rachel Maddow, and she said, listen, the way that the fans can help with this equal pay stuff is they can go out and they can buy tickets to games. They can go out and they can buy jerseys. They can support the sport. Basically, what she was saying was, we grow the sport, we grow the business, we grow the revenue. That's how we increase the salaries. Well, that is true anywhere, no matter what the sport, no matter what jersey you're wearing, whether you're a man or a woman. That is how you grow a salary, is grow the business. Now, let's just look at the business, right? Let's look at it. And you've got the U.S. women's national team, which, only 25 to 28 players are getting those spots. But then you've also got the National Women's Soccer League, which I had never heard of before the other day when I was doing this research. Where were the ads for the NWSL during the World Cup? If you've got an all-star team, the greatest players in the world, the greatest female players, then why isn't the NWSL running ads on the U.S. women's national team games? Say, hey, you can watch Megan Rapinoe play for a professional team. Check out the NWSL. It'll be on some fringe sports channel or whatever. And then I got to thinking about it. You know what? Soccer really doesn't lend itself to advertising very well. Not like baseball and football do. Hell, you watch soccer, you don't get commercials. They never break for commercials during a soccer game, save halftime or intermission if you want to get fancy. Seriously, they play, and that's kind of a cool part of the game. The clock never stops. They can't cut away for 2 minutes of commercials like you can in between innings of a baseball game, or when the defense and offense, run off the field in a football game, or after a touchdown, or, just TV timeouts. Hell, baseball and football and sports like hockey, they are built for TV. That's why they become so big. Soccer is not a TV sport. So, having some sort of mechanism to promote women's soccer overall during these highly rated games, that's tough, isn't it? It's tough. I would put that in the next collective bargaining agreement if I'm Megan Rapinoe or whoever the hell is gonna represent the players, is that during these telecasts that they have to somehow promote the NWSL, or NWSL needs to come off some cheese and they need to go and promote and advertise their product. But as the product stands right now, and quickly we'll get into this, just comparing men and women's soccer on the professional side, right? If you want to go, the number one team in the NWSL, attendance-wise, would be the Portland Thorns Football Club. They average 18,000 fans a game. That's not bad. That's actually really good. And then the Utah Royals, out in Salt Lake City, I guess, they average 10,000 a game. That's not bad either. But then there's a significant drop-off the rest of the way. The next most in attendance is the North Carolina Courage at not even 5,000 a game. The Orlando Pride, 4,700. The Chicago Red Stars, a big market like Chicago, 4,200. The numbers just don't bear it out. Look on the men's side, MLS, Atlanta United, FC. They average 53,000 people a game there in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. 53,000 a game. They're number one. Seattle Sounders, 38,000 per game. In Cincinnati, 27,000. You have to get down to, let's see, about halfway. The Kansas City club is about 18,900. And then the Real Salt Lake is at 17. So the highest attended women's soccer team in the NWSL is about the middle of the pack as far as MLS goes. So look, just because USA is on the jersey, just because you've won 4 World Cups, it does not do away with the laws of supply and demand. That's it. But she's right. Megan Rapinoe, the most intelligent thing she said was with regards to equal pay, grow the sport, grow the business, grow the revenue, and that'll increase the salaries. But she said it, she didn't even know it. It was an unknowing endorsement of the free market and capitalism. And honestly, I would love to hear from some other players on the team. That's really my whole beef. It's like, man, yeah, she's one of 3 captains. Can we hear from the other captains? Carly Lloyd, Alex Morgan, maybe hear from the goalie. Maybe hear from her. Maybe they're just like, no, Megan Rapinoe speaks for us. All right. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for one bit. All right, coming up in a second, I want to revisit this story about the Iranian metal band who escaped death at the hands of the Iranian Army of Guardians of the Islamic Faith or something like that. I want to get back into this because this is like the most metal story of all time. We'll do it next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Hey everybody, Michelle Calhoun here. I am the host of a new show called The Power of Her Story, where I'll be interviewing female business owners all over the Memphis area every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. I believe that when we share women's stories, it empowers more women to write their own. Follow me on Instagram at The Power of Her Story.
The Power of Her Story is brought to you in part by these great sponsors: Brown Properties, 901 eLearn, and its Patreon community.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Dan Groban and Phil Menard at Servant Advisors Group call this mailbox money. It's the monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They want to help remove stress from your retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Servant Advisors Group at 855-260-1000 for a complimentary retirement analysis with strategies that could help your nest egg provide you monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call right now, 855-260-1000. Servant Wealth Management is a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Servant Advisors Group, LLC. Insurance licensed in Tennessee, Mississippi, and in Arkansas.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs. There's little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows, storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com. All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube. Go subscribe there to the YouTube channel, Nation of Jake. We're on Facebook and Twitter as well. In a little bit, we've got some new numbers on the Battle Mayoral. We know Jim Strickland's got $1 million. How much does Willie Harrington have, and where did that money come from? We'll get into that in a minute. I did want to revisit this story. This is an Iranian metal band called Confess. And this just kind of illustrates how different things are in Iran versus this part of the world. If you want to start a metal band in the U.S. and you want to sing about things that are blasphemous, people are like, all right, cool. Do it. Do it, because it's been around forever. We've been blaspheming, and we've been committing sacrilege in our metal music forever. All right, going back to Ozzy and Ronnie James Dio and all the great metal acts of the past. Well, in Iran, you're not free to do whatever you want. And so this band, Confess, from Iran, or Iran, they were arrested by the Army of the Guardians of the Islamic Revolution. For blasphemy and other charges, they were sentenced to 12 and a half years in prison and 74 lashes, like with a whip. I mean, I don't know exactly what they're lashing people with, but it sounds entirely unpleasant. So their sentences were reduced, but then the full list of charges is a little bit more eye-opening. The full list of charges include insulting the sanctity of Islam, disturbing public opinion through the production of music containing anti-regime lyrics and insulting content, and for participating in interviews with the opposition media, and insulting the supreme leader and the president. All right, so if you ever hear somebody talking about how this administration, the Trump administration here stateside, is an authoritarian regime, just know that in real authoritarian regimes, you get brought up on charges for being in a metal band and insulting the president and the supreme leaders of Iran. Additional charges were filed for leaving the country because these guys are like, no, we are not going to go to prison. We are not going to suffer 74 lashes for playing heavy metal. So they bailed and they went to Norway. Now, I got to hear these guys. Confess. Let's see if are they on Spotify? No, I guess they're not. Oh, here we go. This has got to be them. All right, this is explicit. This doesn't look like them. Maybe it is. Maybe we'll see. No, this is not them. I'm not going to play a band that's not Confess. This is the American Confess. These guys have a new single. I was looking for it. They live in Norway now, which is a haven for metal. The new single is called Even. It's named after the Iranian prison where they were held. They've got a track called Revenge at All Costs, most of which was written in 2016 and 2017 while the band awaited their first trial in Tehran, and focuses on their time in prison. You don't get much metal than that. You don't get much more metal than Confess from Iran. All right, some more numbers in the Battle Mayoral coming up.
KWAM, your news and information station, with CBS News updates every hour on the hour. KWAM Memphis.
This is CBS News on the hour. Real news, real reporting.
I'm Pam Coulter. The downpour that parts of Louisiana got yesterday could be just a taste of what's to come with what's expected to be the first hurricane to make landfall this season. WWL's Dave Cohen in New Orleans.
National Hurricane Center Director Ken Graham made the announcement.
We have Tropical Storm Barry.
That after hurricane hunters flying through the Gulf found winds strong enough to classify it as a tropical storm. He says it could be a hurricane before it makes landfall, but Graham urges people not to worry about if it's a tropical storm or a hurricane. Worry about the rain, he says.
Some areas, we don't know where, could get maybe up to 25 inches of rain, and that's a real problem.
He says Louisiana and Mississippi should expect widespread 15 to 20 inches. Dave Cohen for CBS News, New Orleans.
There are conflicting signs about what President Trump plans to announce about the 2020 census a couple of hours from now. CBS's Stephen Portnoy.
There is a great deal of confusion here about just what the president will do. Officials at the Justice Department have been struggling to deal with the fact that Mr. Trump wants the citizenship question on the census next year, but many inside the Justice Department believe that judges simply won't allow that in time. The Supreme Court did say last month that there's nothing in the Constitution prohibiting a citizenship question, but the justices also sent the case back for further consideration, and the court blocked the addition of the citizenship question until the matter is resolved.
President Trump, sometimes called the tweeter-in-chief, is hosting a conference of critics of big tech, excluding people from the very sites he frequents. CNET's Don Patterson.
This is a gathering of the president's associates and his supporters, and it is designed to amplify voices that have been in the past historically associated with extremist and sometimes conspiratorial points of view.
Many immigrant communities in the U.S. are on edge ahead of expected ICE deportation raids this weekend. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot says they do not support the action.
Chicago is and will always be a welcoming city that will never tolerate ICE tearing our families apart in our communities.
There may be a reason why some people pile up spending on credit cards. A new study finds households with credit card debt are outspending their debt-free counterparts. CBS's Vicki Barker.
Credit card debtors are outspending savers on clothes, restaurants, cell phone upgrades, and personal care, among other wholly optional items. The study for creditcards.com found that those who are debt-free spend more on car payments and leisure travel than those with debt.
On Wall Street, the Dow is up 168 points over 27,000. This is CBS News.
She's brought us the world. Now, she brings us truth and understanding right when we need it most. The CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell, July 15th.
Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Babbel's award-winning technology gets you speaking right away, whether you're learning Spanish, French, or German. And best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
Using Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons, you can be speaking confidently in your new language within weeks.
I was amazed that I could start having real-life conversations right away. It was so fast. Now I'm speaking Spanish. Woohoo!
No wonder Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Try it for yourself and see why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language, like Spanish, French, or more. You can try Babbel for free. Go to Babbel.com or download the app and try it for free. That's Babbel, Babbel.com, or download the app to try it for free. That's Babbel.com.
A famous bourbon producer is fined over an environmental disaster. CBS's Jim Crisula reports.
Jim Beam will be fined for a warehouse fire that contaminated nearby rivers with bourbon, resulting in a huge fish kill. John Murrows with Kentucky's Energy and Environment Cabinet.
We will be assessing the whole incident, and I am sure we will be issuing a notice of violation.
A lightning-ignited fire last week destroyed 45,000 barrels of aging bourbon in Versailles, Kentucky. A 23-mile alcohol plume flowed through the Kentucky and Ohio rivers, killing countless fish. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
Kansas highway officials say there's no way to know how much money was dispensed rather than collected at a toll booth on the state turnpike in Mulvane. Instead of accepting money, the machine spat out coins. And rather than sending out a private message, a state agency revealed the problem in a text alert to public subscribers. Pam Coulter, CBS News.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? You feel like there's no way out? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Get off the debt treadmill and stop the harassment. Get free of credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and medical bills. Call now at 800-899-8888. $89.22 for free information. For about 10 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Get off the endless cycle without having to declare bankruptcy. You'll have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 800-899-8922. That's 800-899-8922.
Damn, boy, that's what I'm talking about, Jake.
I've worked in the private sector. They expect results.
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, have some.
And welcome back to it, the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. We're online, KWAMTheVoice.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Go check out the YouTube channel, Nation of Jake. Just run it all together, Nation of Jake. We're also on Facebook. You can find me there. Twitter, at Nation of Jake, but I think Twitter is down right now. I'm getting an error message. It says something is technically wrong. Thanks for noticing. We're going to fix it up and have things back to normal soon. So Twitter.com is down, which raises the question, where will AOC accuse Nancy Pelosi of racism? Will she have to go to Facebook, Instagram, the Snapchats? We will find out as soon as Twitter is back up and running. A lot of news today. One of the big stories is that this tropical storm Barry is coming up for New Orleans. All right, the Gulf Coast, they're no strangers to hurricanes, hurricane season. It's a reality you deal with when you live on the Gulf Coast. In fact, this morning, as I was looking at the radar and hearing the stories about Tropical Storm Barry, which honestly is like the least tropical name, Tropical Barry. And it sounds like some sort of smoothie flavor you would have. Tropical Storm Barry is headed for New Orleans. They're getting some flooding. They are underwater because they're below sea level. You know about New Orleans. They got to bury everybody in those above ground graves, those tombs, mausoleums, call it, because you can't dig down because all the dead bodies will float up because it floods so often there. But just east of New Orleans is the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, and that's where my family lives. And no disrespect to the nice New Orleans people, I care about my family down there. So I, from time to time, will text or call my cousin Daniel. Daniel Murphy talks like this. He's like, man, it's fine out here right now, man. It's sunny, but it's going to be raining. That's all. And so they're so cool about it. Everybody down there. You talk to New Orleans people, you talk to Mississippi people on the Gulf Coast, they get it. They get it. They say, look, we live on the water, and from time to time, hurricanes and tropical storms are going to wash that water up into our yards. They build their house on stilts or pilings. That way they can deal with it. They hose it all off, and then boom, they're done. And I was also talking to my cousin Daniel. Daniel, he's like, man, now that blue-green algae, man, that's always been in there in the bay. We had no business out there in the bay. So we talked to him about all kinds of stuff. But he says that it's fine. They're going to get some rain. Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, he was talking about it, going, look, we know how to withstand these storms. We know how to recover from these storms. It's just what we deal with every year around this time. So don't worry about us. We're strong. We're good to go. In fact, a lot of those people throw hurricane parties on the Gulf Coast. I've been to those before. Hurricane, who's the most inland? Let's go to their house and let's drink. Because people from New Orleans can do that. They'll drink and then they'll argue about the Saints. That's what they do. So Tropical Storm Barry is hitting the New Orleans side. The Mississippi side, they seem like they're not really worried about much. But it takes a lot to get them to leave their homes. So that's what's going on down on the Gulf Coast. And I'm not sure how that weather is going to affect us here in Memphis. I guess they're saying that maybe we could get some remnants or some rain through that system coming up. But for now, it's just hot. All right, so heat advisories, you're up above 101 with the old heat index. So be safe out there. What else is heating up is the old battle mayoral. We got a mayoral election coming up, and we talked about, Big Jim Strickland.
Man! Mr. Strickland!
He's got a cool $1 million just burning a hole in the pocket of his pleated suit pants, right? This guy's got $1 million. He doesn't care who knows it. In fact, by law, he has to declare how much money he's raised. So in 4 years, he's raised a $1 million war chest. I'm still waiting for his people to place an ad buy in the Nation of Jake. I don't need the whole $1 million, but a few grand might be nice here in advertising for the Nation of Jake. One thing that stood out to me about that dollar figure is that 93% of that $1 million, 93% of the campaign donations for Jim Strickland's campaign have come from Memphis and Shelby County. That's a big number, 93%. Because you want to dig down, not just he's raised a lot more money than his challengers, he's done it largely here. People who will vote for him have come off, I don't know, something like 1,100 donations. So an average donation of like $900 for his campaign. That says a lot that 93% of it has come from the area. The other two prominent challengers, Willie Harrington and Tammy Sawyer, have not raised nearly as much money, and they're at a disadvantage. Jim Strickland has been able to raise this money over 3 or 4 years, whereas the challengers, they're kind of late to the game. So they don't have near as much money, and they're not going to. But in the case of Willie Harrington, it has come out today. Bill Dries in the Daily Memphian has a headline here. Harrington raises out-of-state money in mayoral return bid. He has a campaign war chest of $62,037 as of July, according to his campaign finance report filed Wednesday. More than half of the money he raised from April through the end of June came from out of state, not just out of town, but out of the state of Tennessee. Half the donors listed in the itemized section of the report covering the second quarter come from addresses out of state. Harrington's list reported 88 donors who contributed more than $100 individually. Of that number, 44 listed out-of-state addresses and provided more than half the money. So more than half his money, more than half of his 62 grand comes from out of state. What's that tell you? That these people who are donating, they're not voters in the city of Memphis, not even in the state of Tennessee. They don't even have any like ancillary interests around. They're not like from Collierville or something like that. A lot of people joke saying the best thing that can happen for maybe it's coming from North Mississippi. Because people like to joke, the best thing that can happen for Collierville, Germantown, Bartlett, Millington, Hernando, South Haven is that Willie Harrington gets elected to be the mayor of Memphis again, because he ran it into the ground once and everybody's looking to bail. What might even be better for the property values in the surrounding municipalities would be a Tammy Sawyer mayoral bid, because Tammy Sawyer, she has a social justice platform, which would be really expensive. And when you ask people how they're going to pay for a really expensive platform, they're going to raise taxes. And Memphis has the highest property taxes in the state already. They don't even operate schools anymore. And you got to wonder, well, where's the money going? Where are the taxes going? Jim Strickland has been able to do a lot without a tax increase, without a property tax increase. So I think he's got that going for him, and he's got $1 million. And 93% of his $1 million is coming from right here in the Mid-South. Whereas, I wonder where Willie Harrington's out-of-state money's coming from. I don't have it. I could request it, I guess. It might take some time, and by that time I won't care anymore. So we'll see how it all bears out. I'm not saying that it's in the bag for Jim Strickland, but he's in the best position, I think, at this point to be reelected as your mayor in the battle mayoral coming up October 3rd. There's some other numbers as to fundraising for other city council posts and things like that, but I'm not just going to rattle those off. I just think it's interesting when you look at, the money doesn't always tell the whole story, but you can deduce by where that money's coming from. So we will keep an eye on this as it develops. I'd like to see where Tammy Sawyer's money's coming from. I would imagine that she would have some out-of-state, some donations that came from progressive groups. I could totally see her getting some national progressive groups to donate to her campaign based on, what we've seen. I mean, we see people who don't live here and have no interest in Memphis, but they want to see certain types of candidates in positions to where they can move up and move up. And I think that if I really had to analyze it, that Tammy Sawyer is not going to win, and she knows that she's not going to win. Let's just put it this way. I'm not saying she can't win. I'm just saying if she wins, I'll be surprised. I think she would be too. With all of 7 months experience as a county commissioner, coming in to be the mayor of Memphis, and it takes a little longer than that to kind of build your network and your consensus and your coalition to make that happen. That's it. If it happens, I'll be shocked. I think she'll be shocked. I think she's doing this to once again raise her profile for possible future runs for office. I would like to see her challenge Steve Cohen for that congressional seat. I would love to cover that. It'd be fantastic. I mean, just in regular old millennial mode, it's like, hey, I want to skip all the work and I want to jump right into the top spot. That's what millennials like to do. They walk into a company, say, what position are you interviewing for? I'd like to be the CEO. Yeah, get in line, kid. All right, so coming up, we're going to talk to Ron Hart about some news of the day. His latest column is all about the equal pay, Megan Rapinoe, Colin Kaepernick, and his protest over the Betsy Ross shoes. We'll talk about, I also want to talk to Ron Hart about the stock market going insane. We'll do it next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Wake up, Memphis, wake up. Tune in every Saturday at 2 p.m. to Wake Up Memphis from Beyond the Badge. To be informed of hard-hitting issues like public safety, police community relations, and how your tax dollars are being spent. Join in on the conversation to share the facts. Sponsored by the men and women of the Memphis Police Association that protect this city every day. Remember, every Saturday, 2 p.m., Wake Up Memphis from Beyond the Badge. Here, KWAM.
Now on FM 107.9 and AM 990.
I'm Ed Horrell, and this is The Kindness Revolution. I just read from a blogger who was asked why you spill coffee from your cup if you're pushed or bumped. When you spill coffee, it's because your cup contained coffee. If it had contained tea, you would have spilled tea. At some time in each of our lives, we're going to be pushed to the point that whatever is inside is going to spill out for others to see. Let's hope that we're proud of what we spill. To learn more, check us out at thekindnessrevolution.net.
Did Jesus promise to return within the first century generation? Discover why atheists, Muslims, Jews, and even some Christians believe that Jesus is a liar and the Bible is false. Join William Bell for discussion on the end times and Bible prophecy on the All Things Fulfilled Eschatology broadcast Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. on KWAM 990 and FM 107.9. Listen on Facebook at KWAM The Voice.
Whatever you may be interested in, chances are you can find some valuable information in the July edition of The Best Times, now available on your local newsstand. Don't miss articles about elder abuse, the dangers of using marijuana, the value of lifelong learning, the myth of taking vitamin D to reduce development of type 2 diabetes, which CDs are best for you, legal documents that everyone should have to protect their assets, and so much more. The Best Times is available at all Kroger and CVS pharmacies. Get your copy today.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs. There's little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of of windows, storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
The special event florist for the Mid-South is Lynn Doyle Flowers. They are famous for creating incredible floral arrangements and are available to fill even your last-minute needs. From the simple to the magnificent, their staff can create unique arrangements for your special occasion. Flowers always bring a smile, make someone's day, and for fast, convenient delivery, call Lynn Doyle Flowers today at 901-323-4521 or visit their beautiful new location at 6225 Old Poplar Pike.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. We're online, KWAMTheVoice.com. The live stream is over on the YouTube channel, Nation of Jake on YouTube. Go check that out, subscribe, and tell your friends about the Nation of Jake. Each week, we like to check in with nationally syndicated columnist Ron Hart. This week is no different. We got Ron Hart on the phone right now. Ron, welcome to the Nation of Jake. What's going on?
Great to be here.
Yeah, man, always good to hear you. Now, you like to cover financial stuff. I see you on TV. You're on. When's the last? You were on CNN for a while. You do a lot of stuff with 11 Alive in Atlanta. On a day like today, when you see that number 27,000, the Dow Jones is up above 27,000 for the first time ever. I mean, what's that all mean?
More money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but I mean, what is it about now that we're at these record numbers?
Yeah, for all the resentful people out there who hate people who have money, you have a job because someone has money, right?
Right.
So if you're at AutoZone, you have a job because Pitt Hyatt has money. If you're at FedEx in Memphis, you've got money because Fred Smith had a vision and he made money. And I got news for you. Fred Smith cannot eat more than one steak a day. He cannot spend his money, right? He's made money for you. He's made money for Memphis. He's funded philanthropy, the FedEx Forum. Wealthy people, the stock market is a barometer for wealth in America. And these people who have wealth, yeah, they're better off than you are, but are they happier? Maybe not. But what they do with money is a multiplier effect with money, right? So, like Home Depot, for example, or FedEx, too, for example. Fred Smith at FedEx and Bernie Marks at Home Depot, they probably made 7,000 millionaires. People in Collierville, people in Germantown, who were able to send their kids to college, who were able to buy a bigger house because of Fred Smith's vision, FedEx. So the people entrepreneurs, you need to run to Cuba, you need to run to Venezuela where they have none. See what that's like.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that number, and this is the day. I told everybody at the top of the show, I usually don't advocate for this, but today is the day if you want to look at your 401k, if you want to look at your retirement accounts, do it today if you want to feel good about everything. Yeah, because this is huge.
Yeah. It's like George Jefferson said, grab yourself a piece of the pie, right? So you got to grab a piece of the pie. And people out there who have jobs right now, the economy is like 3% unemployment, which is zero unemployment, because you wouldn't employ 3% of the people out there.
Right, yeah.
You and I know I would employ maybe 30% of the people out there. But so we're down 3% unemployment. If you have a good job and you're valuable to your company, now's the time to go ask for a raise.
Yeah, here's the thing. And you have to ask for a raise. You can't go demanding a raise. Like, right now there's this dust up, and I know you probably have not, this is not on your radar, Ron Hart. There are a group of people at the University of Memphis who are doing fine, honest work. They're janitors and custodians over there. They are demanding $15 an hour, even though if you go over to the job boards and whatnot, Indeed.com or whatever it is where jobs are posted, that the average salary or the average wage for a janitor in Memphis is about $10 an hour. These folks are making $11.11, and now they are demanding, they're writing op-eds in the paper, demanding $15 an hour. You're not saying go demand it because of social justice. You're saying now's the time to ask for it.
I say don't don't demand it, earn it. Right. So if 11's the mean, ask for 13. Move the number up a little bit. Now, so every business has a cost of doing business, right? If you're FedEx, your cost is fuel, your cost is jets, your cost is management, your cost is labor. Labor right now is valuable. So all of a sudden, labor is in demand. Now is the time to ask for labor. If fuel, was it $2.40 per gallon of gas in Memphis right now?
Yeah, something like that. A little less.
Yeah, if fuel is $5 a gallon, that will be a part of FedEx's cost of doing business. Right now, the part of FedEx's cost of doing business is labor, right? So labor is now, and earnings are good at corporations. If you're going to ask for more money, do it in good times, not bad.
Right, and ask for it or show them your value. I mean, that's really it. It's just because you want a raise, that's not a reason. What you need to say is, hey, I come in here and I come in here on time every day, and I've done a good job here, and I feel like I'm more valuable than I'm being paid. And then you can make your case on paper, do a PowerPoint, but don't go writing an op-ed talking about how, oh, you guys run this place like it's a plantation, and I demand a living wage. I want $15 an hour. That's not the way you ask for a raise.
Yeah, no one is owed anything, right? And basically, you can't say because of this, you can't bring extemporaneous outside factors into your job. Like, hey, you don't deserve anything other than the free market prices your labor at, right?
Right.
The free market prices everything. It prices oil. It prices magnesium. Prices gold, silver. It prices everything.
It prices women's soccer players.
It prices women's soccer players.
Yeah,
exactly right.
Yeah, so you can't just go in there with like #equal pay. Like, hey, I want to make as much as this other person who does something different than me. And that's in your column this week. You talk about Megan Rapinoe, U.S. women's soccer, and this whole equal pay battle cry that they have. I just want to say, to people, look, just because they play for the U.S. national team does not mean that the rules of supply and demand go away.
Right. The rules of economics apply to everything. It applies to high society. It applies to Kenya. It provides to prisons. Supply and demand. If you got cigarettes in prison, it's valuable. So supply and demand applies to everything. So here's the fundamental thing to remember about the women's soccer team. They can say they should make more than men. But have you been to a women's soccer game? No one goes to women's soccer games, right?
No. I went over these numbers earlier. Like this league they have is called the National Women's Soccer League. There's a couple of teams that do pretty well, and then the rest, it's fewer than 5,000 in attendance per game. Nobody goes. They're not on TV. You don't know where to find them. They're not well promoted. It's not well run.
Right. Well, yeah. It's true. So they get 20% of the revenues of FIFA or the World Cup, right? And the men get 9%. Yeah, 9% of a 3.6 billion audience is more than 20% of a $1 billion audience. That's just what it is. So that's just the way life is. And the other, if you reverse that for a second, a woman stripper makes more than a male stripper.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
A woman, a gazelle makes more than name a male model right now. I don't know who the male model is. Name a male model. Gazelle and you name a female model, and they make more than a male model.
Yeah.
So there's certain sectors of life where women make more than men and men make more than women, and it's only because people follow soccer at a bigger level. And it's not America being racist or misogyned. It's basically the world which follows soccer, right? That follow the men versus the women. And the women make great strides last month in the last 2 years because they're a good team.
Oh yeah,
and they'll get a lot of side promotions or whatever, but bringing politics into it, I don't think that's the smart move.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, Megan Rapinoe herself, who you would think, Ron, if you were only half paying attention, as many people are, that she was the only player on the team. Have you seen an interview with anybody else on that team? I haven't. I've only seen Megan Rapinoe.
Well, the media gravitates toward her because she's a malcontent, right? So how can you have the greatest week of your life and play victim?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you just took home the 4th World Cup in 8 times. There's only been 8 Women's World Cups, and they just won their 4th. Yeah. And it's probably Megan Rapinoe's last year because she's 36 years old. She's going to be one of the older players next time around. She'll be 40. Right. How long can you do that? You got a shelf life when you're a professional athlete. And so this is kind of like her last hurrah in the World Cup, and then she has to make it about Donald Trump.
Yeah. She looks like a kind of a more masculine Lyle Lovett.
A little bit. Little bit. With purple hair, sure, yeah.
Yeah, and if you color your hair purple, I don't know a lot about anything, and I'm really not that smart. If you color your hair purple, you're really asking for attention.
Absolutely, 100%. Look at me, look at me.
And all you got to do is say, I hate Trump, and the CNN, PMS, NBC, all the cameras run to you like a firefly, a light of firefly. She knows that. And if you listen to her, I've listened to her on Anderson Cooper, 180, whatever he is, and then all these other people. She never articulates her beef with Trump. He sucks. I don't like him. They use broad terms. They don't like him, but she never said, "Hey, I disagree with him on Gorsuch. I disagree with him on, regulations. I disagree with him on border security." She never articulates it, nor does Kaepernick. And they say broad terms. I don't like him. Oh, cool. Let's put a microphone in your face, Avenatti. And Avenatti was their favorite person 4 months ago.
That's true. I mean, and it's so funny. It's like they want to come out and talk about how brave people are for coming out and standing up for what they believe. It's like, but hold on, but what do you believe? Okay, you got to give me something. You gotta tell me what you believe. Don't tell me what you hate. Okay, you hate Donald Trump. He says mean words, and you hate him. Okay, we get that. What do you believe?
Yeah.
Let's forget Donald Trump exists for a second. What are you all about? Like when you take off
articulate the problem and articulate a solution.
Well, you know what? Here's what's funny, Ron. I was watching Megan Rapinoe on a Rachel Maddow show. I saw a clip there on Twitter. She did articulate the problem, and then she actually gave a solution. But you know what the solution was? The solution was capitalism. Rachel Maddow asked Megan Rapinoe. No. Here's what's funny.
Rachel Maddow and Megan Rapinoe, little girl-on-girl action.
A little bit. It was unintentional, and I wouldn't have watched that. That said, Rachel Maddow asked Megan Rapinoe how fans could help in the equal pay fight, the fight for equal pay. And Megan Rapinoe said, "Well, they can go buy tickets to the NWSL games. They can buy jerseys. They can support the sport. They can help grow the business." And it's like, yes.
Don't make me do that.
Right, but here's the thing. She didn't even know it, and she is advocating for capitalism and the free market to be a solution to a perceived problem.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right.
She had no idea she did it. She had no idea.
Yeah, the free market system, put a better product out there, So if you put a better product, and look, it's not. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd much rather watch women's soccer than men's soccer. I'd much rather watch women's volleyball than men's volleyball. I don't know why that is,
Well, look, I've grown up watching women's soccer. My sister was a soccer player in high school and in college. I've seen so much women's soccer that I just sit there and watch it. Like when it comes on U.S. women's national team, I kind of gravitate towards it because I'm familiar with it. So I watch the team and I like the team. And if you want to grow an audience and you want to get guys like me to watch and tell my friends, hey, this is cool, let's watch it, why would you go out and alienate half the country?
Yeah, I agree totally. And I agree. I mean, in the halftime score of the game against their final game was 0-0.
Yep.
I scored more than that at Memphis State.
Yeah, and I saw pictures of you back then. It's amazing.
Technically, exactly the same. I mean, to be fair.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah.
What else is on your mind today, Ron Hart? I know that you wrote about Kaepernick and Rapinoe and this kind of anti-American sentiment that is kind of sweeping the nation. It's just, to me, it's just like, well, what are you doing? This day and age, man.
Kaepernick, my view of Kaepernick, we need to hear him out because the guy has neck tattoos, so he makes good decisions.
Right, exactly. Right? Yeah.
So
they always do.
This guy out. I mean, he's got good ideas. I mean, he doesn't like certain shoes. But I write in the column, the title of the column this week is Betsy Ross was the boss. If you read about Betsy Ross, she was a badass. I mean, she was like a feminist. She ran her own sewing business. She did this flag. How are you going to badmouth Betsy Ross? I mean, just read your history, Kaepernick, and don't wear a Fidel Castro T-shirt, a guy who killed 33,000 people in route to power in a communist nation, which right now are eating rats and rodents in the street. That's your hero? Are you kidding me?
All right, here's my take on Colin Kaepernick, and I said this when he started the whole kneeling deal. Colin Kaepernick reminds me of the guys I went to high school with, football players, what they would do is listen to heavy music. They listen to metal. They get amped up for games. Colin Kaepernick is the kind of guy who would listen to Rage Against the Machine before football games, but then one day while he was sitting the bench, he pulled out the CD and read the liner notes. And he started reading the lyrics. He functions on that level. His understanding of politics and of history and of society is all based on Rage Against the Machine's first album, which was really cool when you're in 8th grade. And then you start reading the lyrics and understanding what they're singing about, and you're like, oh, these guys are complete and total morons. So
yeah, he went to University of Nevada, Reno.
Yeah,
fighting blackjack dealers.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm sure he got some great quality education there. He gravitated to San Francisco, which they have great information up there. But his money is made by being a malcontent. If you're a malcontent, I have no problem with truth to power, but articulate your reasoning. You say, okay, blacks are being slaughtered in the street by police. Police are 18 times more likely to be shot by a black male than a black male unarmed being shot by a policeman. I mean, the stats. These are Obama's stats. This doesn't happen. We aren't murdering blacks in the street. 52% of murders are committed against cops by black males. I mean, it's a huge number. So, I mean, work on that. Don't blame the cops. My dad was a cop. Don't blame cops for this.
The overall theme of what we've been talking about, everything that we've hit on today, Ron, if you want to take one central theme to it, whether it's Rapinoe or Kaepernick or whatever, is arguing facts against emotion. It's clearly all fact based, but when you try to argue against that emotional argument, you get nowhere with people because they're already
take a reasoned approach, state actual facts, not just emotions that African male men are being murdered in the street. Not the case. In fact, it's probably hurt African American communities because police are very careful to go in there now.
Yeah,
they don't want to lose their career. And who are they protecting by getting these thugs out of bad neighborhoods? They're protecting the neighborhood, right? But now they're scared. It's called the Ferguson effect. And they're afraid to go in these neighborhoods and really do the policing they need to do in these neighborhoods that really need policing. Like Charles Barkley said, these neighborhoods need these type of police coming in there. It's not the gated communities that need it. It's these neighborhoods, Orange Mound or whatever in Memphis and Horn Lake, wherever these people, where the bad neighbors are. That's where the tough policing needs to happen, and those are the victims of crime.
That is true. That's all good stuff. Ron Hart, his latest column is called Betsy Ross Was a Boss, Not Kaepernick. You can find that online. Just Google Ron Hart. I know Chattanooga Times Free Press carries his column. You can find it there. Ron, we'll talk to you next week, my man.
Everybody, Jake. Take care.
All right, man. Take care. Ron Hart. All right, coming up, we got to get caught up on all the headlines. We'll do it in the news cruise. We'll do it next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News Update. The Gulf Coast is bracing for the arrival of Barry, now a tropical storm, but gaining power. Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards has reached out to the federal government for help.
We're anticipating a Category 1 hurricane at landfall, which at this time we believe will be Saturday morning, and will be in the central coastal area in and around Morgan City.
The storm is expected to dump up to 2 feet of rain. New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell wants people to shelter in place.
48 hours, potential rainfall, consistent rainfall over the city of New Orleans. We have to be prepared for all impacts. Again, prepare for heavy rain and the slow-moving rainfall.
The storm could test the levees that were fortified after Hurricane Katrina in 2005. CBS News Update, I'm Pam Coulter.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Dan Groban and Phil Menard at Servant Advisors Group call this mailbox money. It's the monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They want to help remove stress from your retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Servant Advisors Group at 855-260-1000. for a complimentary retirement analysis with strategies that could help your nest egg provide you monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call right now, 855-260-1000. Servant Wealth Management is a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Servant Advisors Group, LLC. Insurance licensed in Tennessee, Mississippi, and in Arkansas.
When you're planning an event and need on-time delivery, call Odell Sanders. Sanders Catering has been in business for 31 years, specializing in breakfast, lunch, dinners, corporate, and social events. When you need a caterer to work with your budget, call Odell Sanders at 901-372-2631 or visit them online at sanderscatering.com and take a look at their menu. Sanders Catering, a leader in catering services. Call today at 901-372-2631.
This is Clark Howard. Wouldn't you love to have all the consumer protections that come with a credit card, but not run up debts? Well, that's the promise so many people would like, because using debit cards is really dangerous. Debit cards don't come with the consumer protections you get with a credit card, and you can find that out the hard way if you buy something and the company doesn't deliver it, or any of a number of things involving fraud on your account where you're protected with the credit card and not really on a debit card. But a lot of people take a debit card and use it because they don't want to go into debt. Well, that's where Zero enters the picture. A credit card that's designed to keep you from spending money you don't have. You can learn about it and the companion checking account that Zero offers at zero.app. That's zero.app.
The backyard's looking great, Rob.
Thanks, man. I was planning on adding a deck, too. Know any good contractors?
Why don't you just ask Home Advisor?
Home what?
HomeAdvisor.com. You just tell them about your project and they match you with local pros that can do the job.
Nice. Now, how much does it cost?
Oh, Home Advisor's totally free to use. Plus, you can read customer reviews, check pricing, and book appointments for free.
What's the website again?
HomeAdvisor.com. Or just download the free Home Advisor app.
Home Advisor.
Have you heard what President Trump said recently?
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too.
Now you can watch Newsmax TV and get the truth about Trump from Bill O'Reilly, Mike Reagan, Alan Dershowitz, Pat Buchanan, and more. Newsmax TV is America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in 70 million homes. Find Newsmax on DirecTV, Dish, Xfinity, Spectrum, Optimum, Fios, Uverse, and more systems. See Newsmax TV today. It's real news for real people.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have
the
some.
Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com, streaming live on the YouTube channel, Nation of Jake. Run it all together. Subscribe. My man Chris has subscribed. Frank has subscribed. Paul has subscribed. Be like Chris, Frank, and Paul. Don't be left out. And tell all your friends about the Nation of Jake. In a little bit, I want to hear the review of Hamilton from our very own Earl Farrell. He was there opening night. I want to find out what he thought about Hamilton and Aaron Burr, sir. We'll do that. But first, we got to take a cruise. Yeah, the news cruise. It's brought to you by our friends at Just Windows Home Services. A leisurely look at the headlines. And we do it now in the Nation of Jake.
News. Exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you. The news cruise. Full of exciting news. The news cruise. So relax and kick off your shoes.
The News Cruise brought to you by Just Windows Home Services, 751-3934. Give them a call for a free estimate on not only windows, they're called Just Windows, but they do more than that. Gutters, get those cleaned off. You got some branches and stuff from the storms over the last week on your roof. They'll clean your roof off too. They can also do pressure washing, the siding on your house, your patios, walkways, driveways, whatever you got. They do so much more than just windows. you should check him out online, justwindowsmemphis.com. And when you decide, I want these guys to come out, give me an estimate, you tell them to give you 20% off because you heard about them on The Nation of Jake. 751-3934, 751-3934 for Just Windows Home Services. All right, do a little rundown of the headlines. Looks like Governor Bill Haslam has made a decision as to whether or not he will run for U.S. Senate. Senator Lamar Alexander is not seeking re-election. Governor Bill Haslam has decided he will not seek that seat either. Yeah, that's right. He said he's not running for U.S. Senate. He wrote a column for USA Today explaining why he's not running. He called it the toughest vocational decision he's ever made, not to run for the United States Senate. I didn't even read his statement on why he's not running, but it might have something to do with, I'm a billionaire, and I don't want to be in the Senate. That's pretty much it. I know that he's probably got a lot of people who want him to do it. His campaign would be well funded. He was a pretty popular governor here in Tennessee and could probably win. That said, if I were a billionaire, you think that I would spend my free time going and hanging out with the bloodsuckers in D.C.? So you can't win. Half the people will hate you. I mean, coming in and being like a deciding vote on like a Supreme Court justice or something like that, all the heat that you'll take. And if you got $1 billion in the pilot travel J, what is it? Traveling J? Is that it? Pilot, whatever. Travel centers. I'm not doing that job either. I'm with you, Governor Haslam, the Islamic extremist. We've got a controversy coming out of Mississippi. One of the candidates for governor of Mississippi will not let a female reporter cover him unless she brought a male colleague with her. All right, Robert Foster from DeSoto County, he is running for governor, and there's a woman, Larison Campbell, a politics reporter from Mississippi Today, said her publication shadowed the other Republican candidates for Mississippi governor and wanted to do the same with Foster. We want to show our readers what it's like to be on the campaign trail, sort of like the candidates' goals for Mississippi through the lens of how they're interacting with people, how they're campaigning, how they're selling their message. Just like, you see that there's somebody who is covering the campaign, shadow the candidate. Well, he's like, you can only come along if you bring a male colleague. Now, this is one of these guys who doesn't want to be alone with a woman who's not his wife. This was a controversy when Mike Pence, Vice President of the United States, made these kind of I won't call them demands, these kind of requests, but it's not going over well because Larison Campbell, the reporter, thinks it's sexist. And there is kind of the bent to it that, oh, wait a second. So this woman can't be trusted, or I can't trust myself around a woman who's not my wife. Like, this can't just be professional. It will always devolve into something more. It kind of reeks of this guy having a high opinion of himself. I've seen him. I've seen his haircut. This Larison Campbell person probably wants nothing to do with this guy outside of just covering him for her job. So it's not the best look in the world, but in the era of Me Too, where there are a lot of claims made against men, which may or may not be true, he just says, hey, I want somebody to supervise. You're a woman and you're not my wife, so I have no business being around you in that kind of intimate setting. It's kind of goofy. This is not my kind of guy. I just treat people like they're professionals. I trust them to do their jobs. And if you've got some sort of problem later, well, that can happen with anybody, male or female. So, just kind of goofy. Hey, MLGW, this is not a huge story, but it is worth reporting. They will not be including envelopes with utility bills anymore. You get your MLGW bill, they give you an envelope or an envelope. Envelope. I go back and forth on it for which to use, and you can send in your bill. You got to get your own envelope now. And they're saying that not only will this save some money, but also it would encourage people to enroll in the auto pay program online, which would deduct your bill directly from your bank account each month. I've also noticed on the MLGW bills, they're not printed in color anymore. They're printed in just grayscale, which I guess saves them money on color printer ink. So when they talk about, hey, you got to cut back on the budget over the MLGW before you raise rates, this is just one more sign that they're doing everything they can to to cut the budget. Because really, I mean, you're going down to the minutia, aren't you? When you're talking about, red, yellow, and blue ink in envelopes. We've got the hurricane watch in Louisiana. We've talked about this, that Barry is expected to drop 20 inches of rain. Now I think it's 2 feet. 2 feet of rain, tropical storm Barry. Don't worry about the people in New Orleans. They're some of the toughest people. They know it comes with the territory. Living on the Gulf Coast, you're going to get hit with tropical storms and hurricanes. And we leave you with this. Hey, Earl, did you boil your water? Did you boil water today?
No.
Well, the Arkansas Department of Health issues a boil water notice for Earl. You should have been.
Arkansas.
No, Earl Farrell. Look, check it out. It just says it's Arkansas Department of Health issues boil water notice for Earl. That's you, dude.
Well, I ain't boiling my water.
What if you need to boil an egg or something? They're looking out for you, bro. No, it says Arkansas Department of Health issued a boil water notice for the citizens of Earl. Oh, the nation of Earl? What, you ripping me off here? Citizens of Earl, it's been deemed unsafe, the water over there in Earl, for human consumption due to a presence of E. coli bacteria in the distro system. Gross. Earl has E. coli. Disgusting. All right. I don't want to hear about his E. coli. I don't want to hear about his bowels. I do want to hear about Hamilton, though. Earl went to Hamilton. I'm going to Hamilton in a couple of weeks. I'd like to get a review from opening night of Hamilton at the Orpheum from Earl, and we'll do that next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.crylike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.crylike.com.
Triumph Bank strives to make banking easy for our customers. You have a lot of choices when it comes to banks, so we invite you to visit one of our local offices in Memphis, Germantown, Collierville, and Arlington to see for yourself how our team, backed by our state-of-the-art online and mobile services, can simplify banking for you and your business. Triumph Bank, invested in our communities and making banking easy for you. Triumph is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender. TriumphBank.com. Let's talk growth.
Brown Properties. They specialize in commercial and industrial real estate in all of North Mississippi.
He helped me locate a space and helped me get in so easily. The most professional, most accommodating person that I have ever worked with in my professional career.
I would absolutely recommend Jim Brown very highly. As a matter of fact, he'll be my real estate agent from now into the future for sure.
Hi, I'm Jim Brown with Brown Properties, commercial industrial real estate, located in South Haven, Mississippi. Call me at 662-393-2255.
I talk with healthcare professionals to bring you the latest wellness information Tuesdays and Thursdays on Live Life Well. Listen in and get tips like this to help you get started on your road to wellness.
You have to commit to seeing what you've been doing, taking ownership of what hasn't been working, and committing to make a change. Because a lifestyle change is something that you're going to have to work at.
I'm Bernadette Davis, and I've got you covered every Tuesday and Thursday on Live Life Well. Listen in during the Mary Beth Conley Show on AM 990 and streaming live on KWAMTheVoice.com.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake is on The Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com, streaming live on YouTube, the YouTube channel, Nation of Jake, all one word, Nation of Jake. You can also catch up with me on Facebook and on the Twitter, although Twitter seems to still be down. I don't know if it's just down for me or it's down for the world. No, it's back up now. Thank God, now AOC can call Nancy Pelosi a racist on Twitter again. Twitter causes so many problems. The president's always on Twitter, Congress people, they start buying their own hype. They think people like AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, that her Twitter followers are like her constituents. It's like, yeah, you got like 1 million followers, but you only represent the people of the 4th District of New York. Like, try not to buy your own hype on the Twitter. I don't. Sometimes I'll get one of those tweets that is like 1,000 likes. I'm like, yeah, cool, oh, I'm great, I'm awesome. No, you're not. Nobody cares about you. All right, so I carved out a little time here at the end of the show because I got to hear about it. I got to hear about opening night at the Orpheum for Hamilton. This is what the greatest musical of all time, Earl, has been billed as a phenomenon. Hamilton, the story of Alexander Hamilton with rap. How was it?
I got to tell you, I was very pleasantly surprised. I really didn't know what to expect.
How do you not know what to expect? It's been so overhyped.
Well, but they said it was just the best musical ever seen, and it was
Right.
just, you're going to love it. You got to go see it. But still, nobody told me really what it was about. And so all I knew was that it was about the Revolutionary War, and that it had all these incredible actors and entertainers that were starring in it. So I get there, and here's the way I would break it down. You remember the movie Kelly's Heroes with Clint Eastwood?
Vaguely, yes.
Okay, well, the whole kind of the key to the whole thing was they had Donald Sutherland playing this tank commander who was a kind of a hippie, but during World War II.
In Kelly's Heroes or in Hamilton?
Kelly's Heroes.
Okay, so Donald Sutherland.
Comparison.
Okay, gotcha.
And so he had this tank outfit, and they were a bunch of kind of rebels and all hippies.
Ne'er-do-wells.
Well, they were like hippies in the 1970s, but there were no hippies back in World War II. So they took a lifestyle in the 70s and took it back in time to World War II. Donald Sutherland had loudspeakers on his tank. He played pretty music, shot paint out of his cannons to
They
make
call
pretty
that
colors.
anachronistic.
Yes.
Is what it is.
So what they did here was they took urban people and music and rap and hip hop, took it back to the Revolutionary War and said, what would it have been like if these guys had been black and they had hip hop and all that to do and they were part of their lifestyle? Yeah. And you watch it, you go, it worked. They don't make fun of the United States. They don't make fun of it's just the way they presented it.
Oh, it's biographical. It's not. It's apolitical.
Exactly.
It's telling the story.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, I've heard the song, so I'm familiar with the Lafayette song.
Yeah.
Lafayette and the whole Alexander Hamilton, Aaron Burr, Sir. That whole deal. So I'm familiar with the numbers, but as far as the experience, I mean, when you go to any of these musicals, it's the work that these folks put in. These actors, they are professionals. I mean, doing it live every night, night after night for 3 or 4 weeks, that's got to be exhausting. Sometimes they'll do 2 shows in a day. It's phenomenal what these folks are able to, and you can't just cut, I messed it up. It's not like film acting or TV.
No.
The choreography, the set changes, the costumes. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. So you really didn't feel like it was like this overhyped phenomenon?
No,
you went in.
In fact, I usually don't expect very much because I've been let down so many times in my life. But this time I was greatly surprised, and the show it's just they are so talented, high energy, and you'll absolutely love every minute of it. I did, and
1776.
I think it was better than the Cats. I liked as much. But I liked it better than the French. What was it?
Les Mis.
Les Mis. I liked it a lot
yeah.
more than Les Mis. I liked it a lot more than the guy with the half mask.
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera.
Man, we should do the game show where you just describe the musical and I tell you the
guess
name of it.
Yeah, it'd be the dummy and the smart guy.
The one with all the what's the one with all the cats? Yeah, what's that one? What's the one about the chorus line? What is that one? That would be you would fail on the $25,000 or password. Password. We'd be screwed.
Yeah.
So the whole deal, I want to go just because I want to dress up in Revolutionary garb. Were there any costumers?
Yeah, and the costumes are not in the crowd that I saw.
But I'm going to. I'm going to get a white powdered wig and some knickers and one of those little vests.
You would fit right in. People would get
dress
a kick
up
out
like
of it.
George. Spoiler alert: Does Hamilton die in this one?
I think that's when I fell asleep. I don't know.
Oh, you did? You
no,
fell
I
asleep?
did not fall asleep.
No, because I'm
not gonna. If you
Well,
know your
you
history,
can look it up.
you know what's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
he got shot by Aaron Burr.
Yeah, and Aaron Burr.
Or was it? Or was it Raymond Burr?
It was Aaron.
Okay.
And Raymond came along later, and he ended up in a wheelchair.
Wait, who? Aaron
Raymond.
Burr or
Raymond.
Raymond? Raymond did, yeah.
But
Yeah,
the guy that. Hold on.
What you got over there?
I'm getting our feed, and I know how to stop it.
How'd that happen?
Because I'm setting up my show.
Okay. Sorry, I was disturbing Earl the whole time. He was trying to do something else while reviewing Hamilton. That's what we do every day. We just try to throw each other off. All right, Earl Farrell is up next. I'm sure he'll have more on Hamilton. He'll tell you all about it, about the vibe at the Orpheum. I can't wait to go see it. Thank you, Earl, for the review. And I'll be back tomorrow for a Friday show at 1. So long, and thanks for all the fish.
South station with the most local talk and